Today, I'm going to show you what adjectives are and how you can use them to elevate your work and conversations to a more engaging, interesting, and expressive level. Hi, my name is Gaytri and welcome to Aksharshala, where our aim is to provide quality education for everyone. As a child, you might have learned that an adjective is a describing word. Here are a few examples to help you recall. Now, before we formally learn about an adjective, I want to show you why you should try to get a firm grip on them in the first place. Why are adjectives important? Well, adjectives help us to picture the content of what we read about. Let's see this through an example and think which one you can picture better. She went to a friend's house. She happily along the brightly colored paved sidewalk while on her way to her friend's beautiful house. Big difference, right? See, whenever we use adjectives, they make our writings more visual and vivid. Our readers will get a better idea of what we wish them to picture when they read our writings, or to the listeners to picture what we are trying to say. It appeals to our readers' senses. Therefore, they can hear, see, touch, taste, and even smell what you are describing. Isn't this so much more fun? Now, I'll briefly take you through the things that we're going to cover today. First, I'll define what an adjective is. Then, we'll go through the types of adjectives. And next, we'll study how to place an adjective in a sentence. And then, I'll just share with you a fun fact about adjectives that is worth noting. After that, we will learn about adjective phrase and clause. And at last, I'm going to tell you how to use multiple adjectives in a sentence. So, let's dive in. So, what is an adjective? Well, in its most basic form, it is the word that describes or modifies a noun or a pronoun. It can be used to describe, modify, or qualify a noun, essentially giving more information about the object, person, place, thing, or idea in question. In its most basic form, it is a single word. However, as the English language is anything but basic, you'll also want to understand the adjectival clause and phrase. More on those later. When it comes to learning the different types, some are more interesting than others. However, there's no picking and choosing with grammar. Let's take a look at both the fun and the functional, and the part they play in English language. There are total 8 types of adjectives. Let's study them one by one. Number 1 on our list is proper adjective. A proper adjective is the one derived from a proper noun. Let's see some examples. The English language. Here, the proper adjective English is derived from the proper noun England. The Indian Ocean. Here, the proper adjective Indian is derived from the proper noun India. And likewise, in our third example, proper adjective Victorian is derived from the proper noun Victoria. Next is a descriptive adjective. It can also be called as qualitative or attributive adjective, as it is the one that shows the kind and quality of a person or thing. Let's see through examples. A brave person, a beautiful child, a careful mother. Now, the thing to note here is that some attributive adjectives are derived from nouns. Example, a law college, a flower garden, payday. Now, these are not proper nouns. But if the adjective is derived from a proper noun, then as we studied previously, it will be called a proper adjective. Next we have a quantitative adjective. It is the one that shows how much of a thing is meant. For examples, I did not eat any apple. He ate much bread. You drink little milk. A quantitative adjective is always followed by a singular material or abstract noun. We never use plural nouns after quantitative adjectives. Next we have a numeral adjective. A numeral adjective is the one that shows the number or serial order of persons or things. They are further divided into two main classes. Definite numerals show some exact number. They are of three kinds. Cardinals, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Ordinals, that is first, second, third, fourth, and so on. And then we have multiplicatives, that is single, double, triple, quadruple, and so forth. On contrast, indefinite numerals do not show an exact number. For example, all, some, enough, none, many, few, etc. Try using them in a sentence. Next, we have a demonstrative adjective. As the name suggests, it is the one that points out which person or thing is meant. For example, this boy, that person, those books. Next, we have a distributive adjective. It is the one that refers to members of a group individually. Please note here that each member of the group is meant individually. They are four in number: each, every, either, neither. Let's see through an example. They have neither red nor white wine at this restaurant. Here we want to talk about both red and white wine individually. Another example is each person got their own lunch. Now this is said in reference to each individual person. Next adjective on our list is an interrogative adjective. As the name suggests, it is used to ask a question. Some examples are: whose pen is this? What book is that? Which flower do you like best? Next we have possessive adjective. It indicates the possession of the noun to a person or a few people. The words my, our, your, his, her, its, their, when used before a noun, are called possessive adjectives. Some examples are my pet, his car, their grandparents. To sum up all the types we have covered today, I have included a combined table of all the adjective types along with their function and examples. You can take a screenshot for future reference. Now that we have the types of adjectives covered, let's study where to place an adjective. Now typically, a describing word is a pre-modifier. This means that it comes before the noun, pronoun, or the noun phrase that it is looking to modify or describe. As an example, a lovely day. The adjective lovely is placed before the noun day that it wants to describe. But in the case of an indefinite pronoun like someone, something, anybody, where we don't know who the person is that we are talking about or what the thing is that is in question, the descriptor comes after the pronoun. For example, something blue. Now we are not sure what is the thing being talked about. That's why we have used the adjective after the pronoun. Now I'll talk about an interesting fact about adjectives that is worth noting about. An adjective is single but not lonely. Now, what does this mean? Well, although like an engineer, a describing word will always be single, read as singular, even if the noun that is it is describing is plural, it will never be lonely. That is, it will always team up with a noun or a pronoun in a sentence. We never use an adjective in a sentence without the associated noun or pronoun along with it. Remember when I told you that an adjective can be more than a word? Well, let's talk about that. An adjective can be a phrase and a clause as well. Let's first study about adjective phrase. The adjective phrase is a phrase that performs the describing or modifying function in a sentence. Now it can be a string of describing words or it can be an intensifier plus descriptor. An example of a string is it was a cold but sunny day. Here, the string or the group of words cold but sunny is altogether acting as an adjective for the noun day. And an example of intensifier is she was very happy. Now, here the noun that is being talked about, or I should rather say, the pronoun that is being talked about is she. The word that is describing the quality of this pronoun is happy. But wait, there is another word very. What is it doing in this sentence? Well, its job is to intensify the quality of the pronoun. That is, it is intensifying how much happy is she. Now, on the other hand of adjective phrase is the adjective clause. An adjective clause or relative clause is a type of dependent clause that works to describe a noun in a sentence. It functions as an adjective even though it is made up of a group of words instead of just one word. In the case of an adjective clause, all the words work together to modify the noun or pronoun. The flowers that we picked up last week have died. Here, the words that we picked up last week are acting as an adjective clause. They are a group of words describing our noun. But what is the difference between an adjective phrase and an adjective clause? To understand that, let's first quickly recall the difference between a phrase and a clause. The key differences between a phrase and a clause are: phrases do not contain a subject and a predicate, whereas clauses do contain a subject and a predicate. Phrases cannot convey a complete thought, but clauses can sometimes convey a complete thought. Phrases can never stand alone, but independent clauses can be used alone as well. If the difference between a phrase and a clause is clear, then adjective phrase and adjective clause are very easy to understand. Both adjective phrases and adjective clauses perform the role of an adjective. That is, they modify the noun. Now, this is a common property of both of them. But the difference lies in the fact that an adjective phrase is a group of words without a subject or verb that modifies a noun, whereas an adjective with clause will always have a subject and a verb. With this clear, let's move on to our last topic, that is, can we use more than one adjective in a sentence? And if we can, are there any rules to that? I am trying to explain this topic with the help of an example. Let's read this sentence. My red two skirts were in the laundry. Now, something about this sentence doesn't make sense. What is it? Let's also read another sentence. My two red skirts were in the laundry. Why does this one sound better than the previous one? Because there is an unspoken order that native English speakers intuitively follow while using various adjectives in a sentence. Intriguingly, many of us aren't even aware that there is an order, let alone that we are complying with it. For those learning English as a foreign language, however, it's a bit of an uphill battle. To help make sense of it, the following list of adjectives follows the order used when forming sentences. Although eventually, I'm sure you will start following this order unknowingly. But for starting, I would suggest you keep a screenshot of this order so you can reference it as and when required. To help make sense of this order, I am going to show you three examples where it is followed. There is a beautiful American house. See, here first, an opinion about the house is made, and then the origin of the house is indicated, and then the noun house is placed. Another example is, it's a teeny silver ring. Here, the size of the ring is first stated, and the material that it is made of, and at last, our noun ring. Third example is, I love smooth round pebbles. Here, the condition of the noun pebbles is stated first and then its shape. And of course, after that, the noun itself. This was all about adjective, and to end, I am leaving you with a quote about adjectives by Mark Twain, who was an American writer, humorist, entrepreneur, publisher, and lecturer, and was also called the father of American literature. The quote says, a man's character may be learned from the adjectives which he habitually uses in conversation. What are your thoughts about that? That's all from my side for today. Thank you for watching the video till the end. This video is made by the English unit of Aksharshala, which is a part of Kritash, the social welfare club of IIT Jammu, which is operated by the students of IIT Jammu. Do support us in our movement to make this world a better place to live. Do like, subscribe and share if you like the video. Bye bye.